welcome to my class. My name is Liz and today we're going to be working on releasing tension around the shoulders, having a good stretch out of that area and then building into a few strengthening exercises as well. So if you'd like to come down to lie on your mat, we'll make a start. So remembering to work with your body. So as soon as you come down to your mat, maybe you notice that actually it's not comfortable for you to be in full Shavasana with the legs extended. Maybe it's better for you to keep the soles of the feet on the floor and take the feet good hip distance apart and then just allow the knees to drop in towards each other. This will help soften the lumbar, and you can maybe just pick the bottom up and tuck that tailbone under and slowly just begin to soften and relax that lower back into the floor. Bring the arms either side, little space between your arms and your body, and turn the palms up. So as we turn the palms up towards the ceiling, you can feel that rotation all the way up into the shoulders. And seeing as that's our focus today, really bringing maybe a little more attention than you do normally into that rolling and tucking under, maybe lifting the chest slightly today and really easing those shoulder blades down away from the ears. So take a lovely deep breath in, and as you exhale, just softening and relaxing, making any little adjustments you need to, bringing yourself into your place on your mat. So just bringing the mind to the breath, not trying to change the breath at all, just noticing a few gentle inhales and exhales. See how that's feeling for you today. And then maybe bringing the mind to the back of the skull. Noticing where the back of the skull softens into the floor. And just focusing on releasing a little bit more. If you're aware of your chin jutting up towards the ceiling, you can lift the head and just lengthen through the back of the neck by tucking the chin under slightly as you place the head back down on the floor. If this is really difficult for you, you can just put a small thinnish block underneath the head or a book just to give you that lift to help you tuck the chin under and get the length through cervical spine. And focusing back on the breath and just relaxing and softening the forehead, the temples, around the cheeks and the jaw. Notice your inhale as it possibly lifts and opens through the chest slightly. And the exhale, the rib cage dropping, drawing in almost as you exhale. So there's that sense of expanding through the body with the in-breath. And softening and relaxing back and down into your mats with each exhale. Had your legs stretched out on the floor, just gently bringing one leg up and then the other, bending at the knees, placing the soles of the feet on the floor. So you can really relax, as I said earlier, through the lower back and the legs. And we're going to bring the hands hands onto the abdomen. So just feeling where your belly button is and just taking the hands just across the belly button or slightly lower and allowing the index fingers to just touch. So we're taking that breath a little bit deeper now. So as you inhale, maybe noticing the belly expanding, rising a little bit with that in-breath. And then as you exhale, drawing the belly button back towards the spine. And really giving yourself the full time to take that out breath all the way to the ends. As soon as you feel you need to breathe in again, just releasing, allowing that in-breath to flood back into the body again. You may feel the belly rising and opening, pushing against your hands. And as soon as you want to exhale, drawing the belly button back down. So the lower back, you're connecting right the way through from the belly button, from those abdominal muscles, all the way through to the back muscles and into the floor. You might begin to feel the tailbone just tipping very slightly. So we're not leaving the floor, but you might feel that length through the lower back with each out breath. Inhaling, you're releasing again, allowing that breath to flood in. And last time, a long exhale. And inhaling, and then just allowing the breath to come back, settling back to a more normal breath for you. So we're going to slip the block away from underneath the head. I'm going to draw the knees up onto the chest and we're going to have a little rock side to side. And then when you're ready, just rolling onto your side and slowly coming up. So come to sitting and then very slowly coming up to standing. Don't rush because you've been lying on the floor for a few moments. Okay. So just standing in Tadasana. So we're lifting and separating those toes, spanning them out, bringing them back onto the floor and becoming very much aware of our contact with the floor. So growing your roots into the floor and slowly beginning to activate through the body. So maybe the activation for you starts with that lifting of the inner arches. You can feel the flesh of the legs spiraling out, lifting all the way up, inner thighs opening, drawing up in towards the groin. And then we've got that little tuck under of the tailbone, lengthening into the lower back as we begin to find maybe a little more space between each of those vertebrae. So we're lifting the sternum, activating the erector spinae muscles either side of the spine to begin to grow tall into the crown of the head. And just coming back to the breath. So each inhale is possibly lifting and opening the body just a little bit more. And each exhale we're softening and releasing, particularly around the shoulders. So for those of you that know maybe that you're a little bit of a shoulder breather, so as you inhale those shoulders tend to lift, so rather than working the diaphragm you're kind of lifting up through the chest. We want to try and keep the shoulders relaxed back and down. So just drawing into the tips of the fingers a little bit as you stand tall in your Tadasana. Those shoulder blades are relaxing and releasing. So all the time we're softening down And noticing all those little adjustments your body is making all the time. So maybe closing the eyes for a moment so you can feel the core muscles working. You can really focus in on what's happening with your body. So just take a moment to think about your relationship with your shoulders, around the rotator cuff. There's a lot of movement obviously through and around the shoulders. It's a ball and socket joint, but unlike the hip's far more protected, and the shoulder can be easily damaged. So just remembering, obviously through the class, to be kind to yourself, and if you've had any shoulder injuries, being aware of how you're working with regard to those. So just noticing, last couple of breaths, the shoulders slipping and releasing down, sternum lifting, and that broadness through the front of the chest, through the upper back. And then slowly just opening the eyes. So let's have a couple of rolls of the shoulders, back and forth. And then slowly just coming down to kneeling. Now you can remain standing if you want to for this next posture. I'm coming down to kneeling just to make sure that you can see what I'm doing when I take my arms up. So if you're kneeling, you'll need a little blanket or something soft to protect under those knees. Now I'm going to turn around for a moment so that you can see what's happening through the back. So we're going to bring our right arm up alongside the head, again relaxing the shoulder blade back and down, and trying to have that awareness of having a straight arm. So I know when I'm teaching in class I see a lot of straight arms that look like this. We want to really straighten, open up through that elbow. And then the opposite hand, we're just bringing across to hold wherever's comfortable for you. So you might be holding a little higher up, maybe even into the wrist. If you can, bringing the hand further down, but you'll feel that works more into that opposite shoulder, into that left shoulder. So we're inhaling here, and as we exhale, coming over. Inhale back to centre. Now try and keep the hips and the legs at centre, so that stretch is coming from the waist. We're working through the obliques. As I come over to the left, I'm going to lovely stretch through the obliques on the right side, all the way up underneath the armpit, and continuing through the arms to the tips of the fingers. Exhale. So you may be going a little faster than me, and that's absolutely fine. I want you to link the movement with the breath. So as you're exhaling, you're coming to the side. Inhale back up to centre. One last time. Exhale. Inhale. And then we're going to swap over. So it may be different one side to the other, so don't automatically reach to where you were on that first side. Just feeling, as I say, how it is for your shoulders today. So that palm is facing in. We're holding where is comfortable. We're lifting and extending, so getting that stretch up through the obliques, the sides of the body first of all, whether you're standing or kneeling. Relaxing the shoulders back and down as much as you can. Inhale, as you exhale, we're taking that lean to the side, really pushing the opposite hip away to maximise that stretch. Inhale, keep the shoulder blades relaxing down. Exhale, opposite side. So working with the breath. Squeezing the abdomen back towards the spine with each exhale. Once more. And then as you come back up to centre, just extending both arms up. Inhale, exhale, slowly lowering away. So coming up to standing, if you'd been kneeling down for that one. And if you've got a little bit of space, if you can get yourself to a bit of wall, I just want you to notice before we do our next exercise, which will be Viparita Karani, lying on the floor, I want you just to have a look at your shoulder flexion using the wall. So coming to stand with your bottom, with your hips against the wall, we're just going to inhale those arms up, so shoulder flexion. So I just want you to use this exercise to see where your arms naturally come to. So shoulder flexion, we're thinking of taking the arms up and the hands back towards the wall behind us. You might naturally find that you stop here, okay? Take a nice deep breath in, exhale and relax the shoulder blades down. Doesn't matter where you come to, but just using that wall behind you as a little measure, if you like. See if you can take the hands to the wall. So just noticing how that feels. We'll keep a lovely straight arms and keep relaxing the shoulder blades back and down. And then slowly bringing the arms back over the head and just release the shoulders for a moment. So in our everyday life, we very rarely reach for anything behind us. Of course, we will be turning round and reaching forward. So that shoulder flexion, that reaching behind us, you know, if we don't use it, we lose it. So for a lot of people, as you bring the arms up, it's quite hard to get that extra mobility, take the arms away behind. So we're going to relax the body a little bit more now, so maybe that you can get further into that shoulder flexion. So there's two ways of doing that. If you don't have a piece of wall, you can use a chair. So if I show you that first, we're just going to bring the bottom onto the floor up near the chair, and we're going to swing the legs round and have them supported by the seat of the chair. So if you're not comfortable with extending the legs straight, if you're very, very tight in the hamstrings and you don't fancy doing that today, which is what we'll be doing against the wall, you can also maybe choose to use a chair. Now once you're down here, and we're going to do the same when we come up to use the wall, we're just going to lift the hips slightly and place a little bit of raised support under there. So a couple of books or a yoga block, make it comfortable for you. So if one feels all right, you could possibly slip to under there, just so that we're getting a little bit of height through those hips. Okay, so coming into that position with the chair, if that's for you, and while you're doing that, I'll just show you how to get into the same position using the wall. Okay, so we always have a giggle in class with this one because it is harder than it looks to get your bottom right up against the wall. If you just try to fling them up there any old how, it tends not to work. What you really need to do is bring one hip, it doesn't matter which way you're facing, but bring your hip right into the wall, or in my case the mirror here, and then as you begin to recline, swing that bottom round to take the legs up the wall. Then you won't be left with a big gap between yourself and your piece of wall. Again, we can just lift those hips and place a little bit of support, just enough to suit you under the lower back. So whether you're over the chair or legs up the wall now, we're getting all the benefits of, you know, a nice flush out with the legs, all the blood's moving in this direction, the heart's not having to pump the blood back and forth up the legs so hard. And you can just start to relax the breath. So taking the arms either side to start with, just softening those shoulders, palms facing the ceiling. And allowing the breath to relax, allowing your body to relax. So sometimes we're holding tension through the pelvis without even realising it. So next time you exhale, seeing if you can just release and soften across the back of the pelvis, softening those big sacroiliac bones, your sacrum, and your pelvic floor. Now if you are tight in the hamstrings, it can be you know, a little bit hard work having the legs straight up the wall. So you can always just have a soft bend into those legs if you like. As I say, today we're really interested in working on the shoulders, so just make this posture comfortable for you elsewhere. So we're going to inhale and bring those arms up alongside the head. And slowly as you exhale, so the palms are facing each other, we're bringing the arms over the head and down towards the floor. So maybe noticing now with the back of the body relaxed and the hips slightly raised, it's a little easier for you to work into that shoulder flexion. I do want your arms to be relaxed, so if it still feels difficult, if they're still hovering there, then do put a little bit of support. You can always put a bit of blanket underneath the arms there, so you can really relax through the shoulders. And it might help to take the arms a little bit wider, so the closer they are together, the tougher it is, if you like, into the shoulder, into the rotator cuff. So just having space between the arms, opening up through the chest and the back of the body a little bit more. And coming back to the breath. So every time you exhale, just drawing that belly button back towards the spine, working on a lovely, long, smooth out breath. Inhale, just releasing, softening, and as you exhale, squeezing the abdomen back a little bit. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose if that's comfortable for you. And then keeping that breath going, we're just going to have a gentle roll through the neck. So before we start, it's always worth just lifting the head and tucking the chin under a little bit more. And then inhale and exhale and move the head with the breath. So we're taking an in breath at center, exhaling, just rolling that right ear over towards the floor. Inhale back to center. Exhale, opposite side. So just keeping that going, matching the movement with your breath. So every time you need to breathe in, come back to center. And as you exhale, rolling the head. And I do want you to roll the head, so don't lift and turn the head, but be aware of the back of the skull. So we spoke about that weight through the back of the skull, that softness as you relax it onto the floor right at the beginning of the class. So see if you can find that again now as you softly roll the head one way and then the other, inhaling to center and exhale to the side. Next time you come to your left, just making that last one, and as you come back to centre, just resting the head there. Soften the jaw, relax the face. So let's have one more stretch here, just stretching into the fingertips. Maybe stretching the toes towards the head. Working those hamstrings. Take a lovely big deep breath in and soften and release. And very slowly bringing the arms back over the head, bending the knees towards the chest. You can give the legs a little hug in. And then resting the feet onto the wall, just releasing your block, saying if you're on the chair, it's coming out nice and slowly. So we're just going to roll onto our side and rest down in child pose for a moment. So softening back into Balasana, just taking a moment. And then slowly coming up to sitting. So we've been working that shoulder flexion. We're going to do a few postures now that work into shoulder extension. So slowly coming up to standing when you're ready. So take feet good hip width apart, just so that you're feeling nice and steady on your feet. Lifting and separating the toes, rolling those shoulders back and down. And we're going to take the hands behind. So we're taking the hands behind and we're taking them into a clasp. So the best thing is not to think about it too much. Just bring the fingers to interlace together. And then we're drawing the hands down away. So we're relaxing the shoulders back and down. Just have a little softness through the knees. Make sure you're not locking the kneecaps back as you're standing. And then maybe you can possibly work the hands away from the bottom. So sometimes when we do this, the body starts to go in this direction. So the bottom starts to stick out, the chest overextending. So we just want to tuck under with that tailbone. So just being mindful with what's happening in the body, although we're working those shoulders. So noticing which finger is closer to your body or which finger is on top. And that's the shoulder that you're primarily working at the moment. Keep stretching away, keep lifting. And keep mindful of how that feels for you today, particularly if you've had any shoulder injuries. Last couple of breaths there. And then slowly lowering the arms. So before you take the fingers apart, again just noticing which one's on top so that you can move the fingers and slip them back together with the opposite hand finger being on top there, nearest your bottom. So it feels slightly odd often. The first way we do it is our normal way. We do it without thinking. Now it might feel that you're holding someone else's hand. So feet underneath the hips or a little bit wider so that you're feeling balanced, and then we're drawing the hands away, relaxing and rolling those shoulder blades back and down. Again, just being mindful of what's happening through the front of the body, through the pelvis. We don't want to overarch into that lower back. So maybe a little bit of softness into the knees as we tuck the tailbone under. Draw the rib cage back. So we don't want to over flare out with those ribs. Keeping everything contained as we lift and extend. slowly lowering the arms, releasing the fingers, maybe having a little roll out through the wrists. And relaxing those shoulders. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to come down onto the mat now. You might want a little bit of blanket to put under your knee. And we're going to come into Anjaneyasana. So we're going to have the right knee on our blanket or block and take the left leg forward. So Anjaneyasana, we're stretching the psoas muscle down the front of that back leg. We're lifting away from the front thigh. So although we're relaxing the body forward into a lunge and kind of putting our weight forward at first to get that nice stretch out through the front of the back leg, we then want to make sure that we're tucking that tailbone under and lifting the chest away from the thigh. And then it's our shoulder flexion we're working. So we're inhaling to bring the arms all the way up, palms are facing, and we're reaching for the wall behind. So remember how this felt for you when we were against the wall earlier and then lying on the floor, and see if you can get that same kind of stretch and openness through the shoulders. So taking the arms a little wider if you need to, that's absolutely fine. Keep the arms lovely and straight and connect with your breath. So as you inhale, feel that you're lifting and opening, and as you exhale, just drawing the belly back towards the spine. So that exhale, that movement of drawing the belly back towards the spine will help you to just tuck under that tailbone. That awareness of what's happening in the lower back. So we're coming into a little bit of a back bend, but we don't want to take that into the lower back. We want to protect the lower back. So keep releasing and relaxing the shoulders back and down. One more big deep breath there. Inhaling and exhaling, and then breathing in, and next time you exhale, slowly bring the arms forward and down. Pushing into that front foot to release the front leg. If you need to come down and take a moment between sides, that's absolutely fine. Just, you can pause the video at any time you need a little rest, or if you need to watch me and take the posture in before you come to work into it, if it's newer to you. So we're taking that right leg forward now. So you can see I've got the left leg supported on my blanket. It's really important to protect those knees. And I'm just finding that lunge. So before we start to work the arms, softening and feeling that stretch into the psoas muscle. And then I'm thinking about tucking my tailbone under, so I know I've got quite a sway through that lower back, so it's quite easy for me to come into a back bend and take it like so. The work for me and for you, particularly if you're a little bit looser in that area, is to tuck and squeeze that tailbone under. So I'm bringing the chest away from that front thigh and taking that little back bend that appears or is part of our Anjaneyasana more into the upper back than the lower back. So each time you exhale, as I said on the first side, drawing the belly button back towards the spine. So ready to inhale now, we're taking the arms up and over the head, releasing and softening those shoulder blades down the back. Again, taking the arms as wide as is comfortable for you for the posture. So it might mean that by taking the arms a little bit wider, you can straighten the arms, okay? We don't want bent elbows, we want nice straight arms, palms facing, reaching for the wall behind. It's a lovely chest opener, Anjaneyasana. Working into the heart chakra, opening the heart. So use the breath, inhaling, exhaling. Keep releasing through the shoulders, keep feeling that stretch through the front of your left leg. One more inhale. And as you exhale, slowly bringing the arms forward and down, pushing into that front foot and releasing back. So everyone, just coming forward now into Blasana, into child posture. So we're taking the knees wide, the big toes are together, and we're just softening down through the hips, lengthening through the back, but relaxing. So this should be a comfortable posture, and I know it isn't for everybody. So if I'm saying to relax into child pose, into Balasana, and it is just not relaxing for you, you want to make it so. So maybe having a little bit of support, a couple of blocks, even a chair in front of you. Or if it's just not for you, if it's sore into the knees at all, then just coming to sit. Okay, you can just sit quietly for a moment in whatever position is good for you. We just want to quieten the breath, relax the body after you've been working quite hard. Very slowly, when you're ready, coming up to sitting. And just sitting comfortably so that you can watch me for a moment. So your two options now are to repeat the posture we've just done, and Asana, leaving that back knee on the floor, working into that extension through the torso and up through the shoulders into the arms. Or we're going to keep the hands on the hips, we're going to tuck the back toe under and take a lovely big deep breath in, exhale, lifting that back knee and really straightening the back leg by pushing into the back heel. We're going to roll those shoulders back and down, the same feeling of being in a lunge but lifting away from the front thigh that we were practicing just now. And then we were going to bring the arms all the way up. So now we're coming into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. So keeping that space between the shoulders, opening out, taking the hands back into shoulder flexion, reaching for the wall behind. Just take a few breaths there, bring the arms back to the hips, and very slowly, keeping control of the leg, to be kind to that knee as you bring it down to the floor, untucking the toes. Okay, so whichever is your chosen position for today, remember to listen to your body, so don't push it too far. If you do come up into a Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1, the second posture I showed you there, you can maybe just hold it for 1 or 2 breaths. Okay, and slowly come down. You don't always have to hold things as long as I am suggesting maybe. So for everyone coming into that lunge, so it doesn't matter which leg you've got in front, but just take a look at the toes, lift and separate the toes, push the whole of that sole of the foot into the floor. So if you're repeating Anjali Asana, bringing the arms up along the head right now. If you're going to move into Virabhadrasana 1, then the toes are tucking under on that back foot. So we're really working the balance. We need to work the breath. And we're going to inhale, exhale, slowly with control, bringing that back knee off the floor, pushing into the back heel to straighten that leg off. Rolling the shoulders back and down. So really opening through the front of the chest. If you're feeling a little bit wobbly and you're just taking things bit by bit, maybe leaving the hands on the hips. You don't have to extend the arms up and away. You can work on rolling the shoulders back and down. Otherwise, we're inhaling, bring the arms out in front, palms facing, and then back alongside the ears, reaching for the wall behind you. Again, watching that rib cage, drawing the ribs back towards the spine, lifting and opening through the shoulders. 3 big deep breaths there. Inhale, exhale those hands down to the hips and slowly bring the knee down to the floor. Release the foot behind, push into the front foot, straightening off that leg. So if you're in your Anjaneyasana, slowly coming out in the same way, maybe taking a little pause between sides, either sitting or relaxing forward into child pose. And then we're going to work the opposite side. So other leg coming forward, spending a moment again thinking about your foundations, your connection with the floor. So opening out through the toes. Remember, as we come up, it's a good idea to have that foot just slightly to the right to give you a little bit more balance. We don't want to be on a tightrope. Lifting and opening the chest. Thinking about tucking that tailbone under, really lengthening through the lumbar spine. So again, if you're staying in Anjaneyasana, just lifting and opening through the arms now. Otherwise, tucking the toes in behind you. Take a big deep breath in, and as you exhale, slowly coming up, pushing that heel away. Really feeling that stretch down the back of the leg. You're working the hamstring, pushing into the heel. Lifting the chest away from the thighs. Keeping an eye on that rib cage, just drawing it back towards the spine. And then when you're ready, nice big deep breath in, taking those arms up and over the head. So 3 big deep breaths here in your own time. Keep relaxing those shoulders back and down. So whenever we take the arms above the head, we're pushing that blood pressure up a little bit. You can feel maybe that the breath is pushed into the top of the chest. You may become a little bit breathless. If you feel this is too much for you, or you're feeling dizzy at all, just bring the arms back down to the hips. And then slowly bring the arms back down to the hips and releasing down, knee to the floor. Push into that front foot, leg coming behind. Take the knees wide, and again just softening and releasing down to the floor. So we've pushed the heart rate up with those last postures, so really giving yourself time to soften the heart rate now. Soften the breath. just making sure that maybe you're not going to be disturbed for the next 5 minutes, and grabbing a blanket, maybe slipping on any socks and coming down to your mat for Shavasana, for relaxation. So just the same as at the beginning of the class, you can keep the knees bent if that's more comfortable for you as you lie down, or you can have legs straight along the floor in full Shavasana. Maybe you like to have a little block underneath the head to keep that chin under, and definitely you want to be nice and warm. So the body tends to really cool down quite quickly after you've been working. So even if you're not feeling it now, maybe having a blanket over you, cardigan on, etc., because you might feel chilly in a moment or two. So I'm going to come to sitting. You can, of course, if you're not comfortable lying down, you can always sit. You might want to sit with your back against the wall so you can really relax. And then just closing the eyes. So just noticing your shoulders, maybe tucking and releasing them just a little bit more. Your mind to your breath. Softening the face. So releasing all the tension across the forehead, relaxing the temples. Tracing down and around the line of the jaw to underneath the chin, and releasing the chin, maybe noticing a little space coming between the teeth, the lips. Soften the eyelids and the eyelashes. Just noticing where you can feel or hear your breath. So maybe it's a soft breath, just tickling your lips slightly, or your nostrils as you inhale and exhale. Maybe you can hear the breath a little deeper back in the throat. Maybe you're aware of a very soft ujjayi breath, where you can feel the breath in the back of the throat. And noticing maybe how that breath is a little cool as you inhale and a little warmer as you exhale. Softening the throat, softening out across the shoulders, releasing the front of the chest. Noticing as you breathe in how the heart opens, and just softening and relaxing all the muscles around the heart as you exhale. Relax and allow both arms to become heavy. Notice the backs of the arms where they touch the floor, backs of the hands, soften into the palms, and release the fingers all the way to the tips. the sides of the body. Relax the abdominal muscles and the pelvic floor. Feel the lower back surrendering now into the ground. Release each buttock, each thigh, each kneecap, calf, shin and ankle, all the way down to your feet. And just softening between each toe. Soles of the feet. And then feeling any last little bit of tension just releasing down through the heels and into the ground. So the whole of your body is now feeling maybe heavy, maybe light, definitely relaxed. And relaxing more, surrendering more each time you exhale. Just bringing your mind back to your breath. Just want to read you something Buddha said as you lie there. Every experience, no matter how bad it seems, holds within it a blessing of some kind. The goal is to find it. Maybe as you lie there, just before we start to bring a little movement back into the body, maybe just focusing on a positive thought, something you're grateful for, something you're looking forward to. And taking a lovely, big, deep breath in and out. And slowly bringing little movements into fingers and toes. Maybe having a yawn as you begin to stretch out a little more. Maybe noticing how you're feeling after your practice. And then in your own time, maybe slowly bringing the knees onto the chest, having a little rock side to side. And just very gently and carefully coming up to sitting. There's no rush. And just sitting however is comfortable for you. So you can have your legs extended away. You can sit in Sukhasana, cross-legged, comfortable cross-legged position. Just want you to be able to feel that connection with the floor. So just grounding once again, possibly through the sitting bones, into your block maybe, if you're using that to sit tall. And just lifting the sternum, lengthening the sides of the body, lengthening the spine, and relaxing those shoulders once more. So you can bring the back of the hands onto the legs, where it's comfortable for you, just so that you can relax the shoulders. Find that space around the neck, that space between your ears and your shoulders. That length through the back of the neck. And inhale, just sitting tall into the crown of the head. And we're going to take the hands either side, stretching and opening wide into the fingers. You feel the palms stretching open. Inhale, take the arms all the way up. And exhale to your heart. Love and peace to you all. So once again, thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that you enjoyed the class. If you did, please leave me a little message or just a thumbs up so I know who's watching. Be very gratefully received. So see you again soon. I shall be posting weekly, so keep an eye out. Until then, take care.